Hey, what is going on, and welcome back to the Wicked channel. Today I got a very exciting video for you guys because I finally finished my fastest hardcore 1 to 100 speed barbarian build. I think you guys are going to benefit really well on season 1 with this build. It's got a lot of good tips in there. It's probably one of the tankiest, strongest builds that you can play, especially for hardcore or even softcore, depending on what you want to do, or if you're just trying to absolutely blast with speed, right? So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. All right, so obviously in the beginning of the season, you know, you're going to have your 5 starting skill points as long as you complete some renown, right? Some people might not have these, but that's not our problem, right? So lunging strike and enhanced lunging strike for the mobility and for one-shotting a lot of mobs early game. It's very good. You can take a couple extra skill points into this if you want to, so you can continue to one-shot mobs till about level 7, and then unspec out of those and take your whirlwind points. You're going to go ahead and take 2 whirlwind and enhanced whirlwind, and you're going to absolutely blast out of the gate just like that, right? From 2 to 10, you're going to go ahead and take whirlwind, rallying cry, enhance, and tactical, just like any other build, pretty basic and standard, right? Finish getting your whirlwind 5 to 5, and then this is where you're going to take charge and leap. Charge and leap is extremely good for speed runs and just early game because you don't really need to be tanky. You don't really need any other abilities. They're not very useful compared to these two early game, in my opinion. So these definitely help you blast. I mean, leap even one shots a lot of mobs early game, so it's completely worth it. Go ahead and take enhanced leap and power leap, and then put your first point into booming voice, and then this should be enough to finally start getting death blow. Here's a quick clip of what it's going to look like when you have charge and leap while you're trying to blast early level. So from there, you'll get your death blow, right? And then you'll get enhanced and fighters. Fighters death blow is really when your death blow starts to shine because you're going to get 20 fury per hit. So as long as you're killing a mob with this, you're going to be just getting so much fury. You almost never need a lunging strike as long as you play good. You're just going to be spinning and death blowing, right? So then on your way to 20, which is when you're going to be an absolute powerhouse, by the way, you take Pit Fighter and No Mercy, so you can take your Exposed Vulnerability. Exposed Vulnerability is probably the highlight of this build. This is what makes the whole build work along with all of the other synchronizations you're going to get. You know, this makes it where every time you death blow, as long as you hit something, you don't even have to kill it, but I prefer you to kill something, so it resets. You're going to get vulnerability proc on the enemies, and you're just going to do double, triple damage like nothing, right? Whatever your multiplier is. So make sure you keep that up. After that, you're going to take Iron Maelstrom. When you take Iron Maelstrom, this is when you remove charge, right? You're going to go ahead and put 1 into 3 into raid leaders so you can get some heals off your shouts from here. And you're just going to take the passives for Iron Maelstrom. And from here, you're going to be rolling, right? You're going to make sure you have your lunging strike. You're going to make sure it's a different weapon than your death blow, and make sure that's also a different weapon than your whirlwind, right? And you're going to pretty much reset your 35, 40-second cooldown Iron Maelstrom within 10 to 15 seconds or less, depending on how good you are at cycling out your abilities, right? This build's just phenomenal with the way it synchronizes together. After that, you're just going to finish taking more death blows so it hits harder, right? I do note here, when you're level 25, you're going to probably want to start getting your legendary aspects because this is when it unlocks. Season 1, it might be a little bit different. You might be able to get this earlier, or you might even get some of these earlier out of the season pass, so keep that in mind, you know, subject to change. I will update this as stuff comes, by the way, especially with Season 1. I'm excited to dig into that. Moving on up to the top. You're going to take Furious Whirlwind. So this is when you're going to need to make sure you have either 2 swords for dual wield Whirlwind, or you're going to need to make sure you have a 2-handed slashing weapon. I recommend a 2-handed slashing weapon, by the way. Take your hamstring so you can proc some bleeds with slows, right? Super good stuff. Now you get your crit and everything else you want from all your CC. Here's a little tooltip here for you guys to make sure that you guys put different weapons on different abilities, right? So we can start procking the weapon arsenal that we are going to take at exactly level 30. It's just beautiful how everything, like you have a level 5 death blow, you have a level 5 whirlwind, you have vulnerability, you have weapon arsenal, like everything literally synchronizes so well that I don't think there's another build that's better than this for leveling, hands down. After that, you're going to have a choice here, right? You can either keep Leap if you're on softcore, or even hardcore if you're a good player. You can keep Leap for just absolutely blasting. If you're feeling tanky, you got some good loot, no reason to take Challenging Shout, right? Keep blasting, don't slow yourself down. But other than that, if you're playing safe or you're just playing smart, you're going to go ahead and take Challenging Shout into Enhanced Challenging Shout. You're going to respect and remove your leap points and put these into Booming Voice and Raid Leader 2 of 3, and this is when you're now going to be running 2 shouts. Make sure you don't use your shouts exactly back to each other. You can if you really need to, but it's better to use one, wait about 5, 8, 9 seconds, and then use your other shout, and you're going to get a long period duration of 3% health per second. I'm sorry, 2% life per second until you get your 3 of 3 raid leader, right? For a longer period of time, instead of just getting 4 heals per second for a shorter period of time, right? It's definitely better to spread those heals out, in my opinion, depending on the situation. So just burning through here, right? You're going to take your Imposing Presence. You're going to take Pit Fighter, or make you a little bit tankier, a little bit more damage. You're going to take No Mercy, which is going to give you some more crit chance. Absolutely great. I take Swiftness here at 40 because I like to speed up and blast. You can actually take this earlier with Leap, right? So if you're feeling really good, you take Leap with Swiftness, and you're gone. You're absolutely gone. And then from there, I take Tempered Fury and Furious Impulse because these are very good heals that you're going to get all the time on top of your shouts, or you're also able to heal yourself when your shouts are down, which is absolutely a lifesaver in hardcore, in my opinion. This is countless times this has saved me, right? Around about this level, you're also going to want to make sure you have your Fortify Legendary, so you can take Numbing Wrath if you don't have something already. If you found one on the way, good for you. If not, this is when a good time's to take it. You can maybe even do it at 40 if you're feeling cool. After that, take your Thick Skin, which is going to require you to have Fortify and Counter Offensive, right? You're going to want Fortify so you can start getting your damage bonus from this. So pushing almost to 50, you're just going to, with all of your extra points, depending on what kind of renown you get, right? You're going to take Guttural, yeah? I don't even know how to pronounce that. Just 1 point into that, and then put all of your extra skill points into Challenging Shout after that. Just dump them into there. It's going to help you stay, alive late game. So for 1 to 50, though, that is it. Oh, you know what? Here's my level 32 Barbarian running through with this build. Here is my Barbarian level 50 running through with this build. I'm not ready. And then here is my level 68 hardcore Barbarian, also running through with this build. And then here's my Barbarian at level 91, also running with this build, but adjusted for late game, which you don't have Deathblow or anything anymore. It's just pure speed.
I gained 101 DPS off the offense, which is huge. I lost 2.5% cooldown reduction and 8 mana cost reduction, and 20 dexterity.
So without that, let's go down to the 50 to 55 real quick, right? This is a start early Paragon, right? The first thing you want to get Paragon early is get Exploit, right? That's all you want. You just want Exploit. You get Exploit, you don't even need Deathblow anymore. You can use Deathblow for a while. You can push it to like 70, 75, right? Especially if you put some legendaries into it. Obviously, you've seen Wadijo. He's pushed it even farther than that. So technically, you can do Whirlwind or Hoda with Deathblow if you really like that type of build instead, right? But we're going all Whirlwind here, boys. So Basically, you get exploit, drop that death blow, take your third shout. You're spinning to winning with 3 shouts. We're ready to roll. Depending on the ultimate you want, you can take any of the 3. Honestly, if I mean, you don't want to take the ultimate we are currently using, but you can take Berserker or you can take Ancients. Either of those is good. Ancients probably more damage. Berserker is going to keep you alive better because you're going to have that extra unstoppable. So just keep that in mind. So once you get to 55, you got your exploit. Then you're thinking, okay, it's time to convert to late game, right? So then let's go over the late game build. This is going to take like a couple minutes, super fast. So the late game build, I've already laid it out for you guys. It's completely different, right? It's got pressure point. It has imposing presence. Let's see. It's got all of these basic things here that every other build's got. It's got a few, an extra point and a guttural yell. It's got your prolific fury, right? Because we're spinning and being berserked. You're removing your vulnerability, right, for death blow. You don't need that stuff anymore. Because I am using the dual weld magnum opus build, I am doing cut to the bone because the bleed damage on this is insane. Counter offensive, keeping that, and then I'm rolling berserker because I don't want to die. CC in tier 4 gets pretty hefty, let me tell you. Other than that, still running Invigorating Fury on hardcore because it's just absolutely great, especially when you have an insane amount of fury and you're running Unbridled Rage instead of Walking Arsenal. You're healing even more. It's just, yes, is what I'm going to say. I laid out the entire Paragon board for you guys from start to almost finish. I think it hits about 95, almost 100. I was kind of debating if I wanted to go to another board or fill this board out yet, so I'm going to have to update that for you guys in the future. But this one just comes through here, right? It takes Territorial on the first one because you can get Dexterity very easily. And I want the damage reduction like ASAP, right? Obviously, we're going to have Exploit here first until I get to my second board. Then I can put Exploit right here on my second board, right? So always run Exploit first, then put it on your second board once you have enough levels. After you get your second exploit going, and by the way, once this is level 15, you can get this all the way up to 49 dexterity inside of your glyph. Go ahead and take your Warbringer legendary node right after you got your exploit glyph on your second board going. This is absolutely priority in hardcore. You want this ASAP. Sometimes I actually leave exploit in this one, and I'll rush taking Warbringer first instead, because then I can feel really comfortable doing sigils. No problem, you know what I'm saying? Or even when I'm going into my level 70 capstone, I'm feeling really comfortable as long as I have this. So moving on from there, going over to the Decimator board, you're going to take, oops, sorry about that. You're going to take Disembowel. Disembowel is very good. Just, need it for the cooldown reduction for your shouts. Not sure. Okay, then moving up to Flawless Technique, I have Imbiber in this one, and the reason I have Imbiber in this specific board is because you can get 54 willpower points in this board. So this board is absolutely good for any willpower glyphs that you want to pump. Moving on to the last board that I'm running, which I might run another board. Stay tuned. Weapons Master with the obvious Martial one. You're going to want to run this one a lot sooner if you can, right? Maybe on your third board. Like put this board as your third board until you get higher level. But this is definitely where I put it at the end. It's a good spot to get 40 strength exactly, plus boosting some really good nodes in here. So I'd recommend this board with this glyph absolutely. I did also lay out, last but not least, the legendaries I run. These are pretty much the same as any other Whirlwind build, nothing different, right? Maybe arranged a little differently based on the damage percentage and the damage multipliers I'm trying to hit. And then probably my boots right here. I run Relentless Berserker's Aspect instead because when you have a lot of lucky hit and you're dual welding because you're hitting so much faster, right? You are proccing this all the time. So you're basically extending your berserk from 4 seconds on your first shout to sometimes all the way to your next shout if you have enough mobs. So highly recommend this. If some people like to use the whirlwind and pulling in the mobs, but I don't think that procs often enough, so it's kind of useless in my opinion. So this is absolutely what I run. You can also run crit for move speed and stuff like that. That's about it, I appreciate you guys stopping in the video, and hope you guys have a good day. Peace.